Affairs Forum of WZTV Fox 17. And now your host, Dr. James Haney.
Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Martin Luther King holiday celebration. And we're fortunate to have with us two persons to talk about the holiday celebration. Reverend Dr. FHarris, who is the president of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance. And of course, with Reverend Harris is Reverend ESanders. And of course, Reverend Sanders is the pastor of the Metropolitan Church of Nashville. And gentlemen, let me welcome both of you to the show this morning to talk about this very, very important topic.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Reverend Harris, what we'd like to do is to have the two of you to give us some information about your own background and your education and perhaps some of the things that were important. First of all, in leading you to the president of the IMF and your other positions that you hold within the community, as well as yourself, Reverend Sanders, to talk about your background and your education. And then we'll talk about the significance of the Martin Luther King holiday that we're going to celebrate tomorrow morning. Let's start with you, Reverend Harris.
Well, I am a product of the black church, raised in Christian home, parents. Went to black high school in Memphis, Woodstock High School. Went to Knoxville College, graduated with a BA in sociology and psychology, had a double major. And from there, I worked with the federal government as a compliance officer for about 7.5 years in Oak Ridge at the Atomic Energy Commission, Energy Research and Development Corporation. And then re-entered school. The calling to the ministry came upon my life and changed my whole career perspectives. And I came back and I spent a year and a half at American Baptist College with their BTH program. And then went to Vanderbilt, where I received a Master's of Divinity and Doctor of Ministry degrees. Since that experience, I never envisioned that I would have the opportunity to be back in Nashville to head the Keller Mills Smith Institute on the Black Church at Vanderbilt, excuse me, and as well be pastor of the Pleasant Green Baptist Church here in the city. Those two opportunities have been responsible for the other involvements that I have in the community, which has led me being the president of the Interdenominational Ministers Fellowship. And it has been a good experience thus far. And I'm married. I have 4 children. One is a sophomore at Howard University in Washington, 2 children at Aiken Elementary, and a son I'm very proud of at Hume Fall.
Very good. And Reverend Sanders?
Actually, Dr. Haney, I'm a native of Memphis also. Went through the public schools there. I graduated from Melrose High School and left Melrose and spent an interim period at the Lawrenceville School in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, and then went on to Wesleyan University in Middletown, Connecticut. It's really interesting because although I had been in segregated schools right straight through high school, it was really in going to Wesleyan that I had my first multiracial living learning experience, which was very significant in terms of a turning point in my life. It established another level of awareness of the significance of trying to work out how it is that you live in community with people who have aspects of being that are different, especially in racial and cultural terms, than yourself. After being at Wesleyan for 4 years, I graduated with a BA in anthropology. I went to the divinity school at Yale. I only did 2 years of study there, but it turned out to be of greater value than I anticipated at that time. I must admit my motives at going to divinity school at that point were not probably born out of a calling so much as it was a concern for staying involved in the social arena of our community at that time and not being compromised by a lot of the other social issues that were unfolding, especially the war in Vietnam. Then I was very fortunate when I came to Nashville. I began my professional career in higher education at Wesleyan and then at the State University of New York at Old Westbury, and then came to Fisk University where I was working as assistant to the dean of the university, and then recognized that I could no longer deny the call to the ministry that was upon my life. And Vanderbilt University was kind enough to allow me to register and to study as a special student where I was able to continue my theological education. Really, that turned out to be the stepping stone that led to my becoming the dean of the chapel at Fisk. And that ministry evolved into what is now Metropolitan Interdenominational Church. One of the reasons why we have an interdenominational congregation is the result of the fact that at FIS, we were not able to define who the clientele would be. We had to be able to minister in a university institutional environment to whoever came, Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian, Lutheran, Episcopalian, and the spirit of Metropolitan was born out of that. I'm actually very thankful that that particular dynamic unfolded as it did, because the result is that now we have a congregation that's very inclusive, very diverse, and engaged in the community in a way that I'm convinced is a direct byproduct of the way in which the experience transpired, you know, in the ministry.
Let me apologize for this fly here, Sanders.
I was trying my best to ignore it.
And you did an excellent job. I mean, it was really a trying situation there, and we do hope that he has made his sojourn through here, and that he will not return. But again, and we appreciate that information, Reverend Sanders, in reference to that. Reverend Harris, let's talk about the significance of the Martin Luther King movement. I think not only the King movement, but of the civil rights movement, too, so that some of the people who might not understand.
There's no question, Dr. Haney, that the civil rights era was one that was a great transition in this nation. It brought about a worldview, world understanding that impacted the way a lot of Americans, the nation, would see themselves in terms of race relations, social justice issues. The contribution of that era suggested so much that we had not anticipated in terms of the problems that injustice and racism had created for us, but it certainly opened up a catalyst of opportunities for us to begin to deal with how in which this nation could serve all the people in a way that would be befitting to the creeds of this nation, the documents, the Constitution, and equality that was a part of our understanding of what it meant to be an American. So the civil rights era marked, in my estimation, a transition moment in our country and in the world, based on a new worldview that equality